environment of responsible science, either at the University of Malaya or within the country of Malaysia as a whole, or even within your department or your division, what would it look like? What are the necessary things that you would recommend? So, table number 2, we'll start with you.
So, right now in UN, which Jasmine will know very well, we do have a compliance committee that looks into several aspects. So one of the aspects is like animal ethics committee, the medical ethics committee, the biosafety in terms of living modified organisms, and a few others. So that's one of the things that we have. Actually, may I clarify? So University we have made an attempt. We have many compliance committees. So we have the whole range. We are very well covered in terms of policies committees. Medical ethics, we have 2 animal ethics committees. Medical ethics committee, we have a human non-medical ethics committee to cover anything that's non-medical. We have biosafety committee for GMOs. We have biosecurity committee for the rest. We have biosafety. We have radiation safety, chemical safety. We have lots. So the idea was that now it's all over the campus that we set up a central compliance committee to look at the whole structure.
To integrate everything.
How it's implemented. It's not been successful.
It's difficult. It's difficult because we're talking about people.
Exactly. So we have an issue of territoriality.
You have a medical ethics committee about safety, 2 animal committees, 1 non-medical ethics committee.
Yes.
That's
And
1, 2, 3, 4 categories. That's it.
Yeah.
And then of course the radiation safety, chemical safety.
So the IBC, the IBC is different from the biosafety committee?
So there's IBC and IBBC. So IBC, because the biosafety committee is strictly related to the Biosafety Act, and we have to be formed in response to the National Act, it only deals with genetically modified organisms.
As opposed to laboratory safety.
Yeah, so laboratory safety is now under IBBC, and we just launched our policy for biorisk and biosafety, very much in line with the US biorisk policy. That's on dual use, drug safety.
Which affects a large number of people but has nothing to do with another large group of people.
Yeah, so the GMO overlaps. So where GMO is dual use, then it goes into
Dual use potential.
So the biosafety, GMO is under biosafety and laboratory behavior is under biorisk?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of nomenclature at the national
Right.
level. There's
So-
been already a very misuse of nomenclature at the national level, which we cannot
Not
because
change.
of biosafety. Biosafety in Malaysia denotes just GMO.
So I'd like to give you another nomenclature question. And this is something that is subtle in English, but I'd like to pose it to you. What's the difference between compliance and integrity? Because compliance tends to assume meeting basic minimal standards. And integrity aspires to be something a little more like the ideal. Most of us are somewhere in here, and maybe up and down and up and down. And it's a real challenge to think about as an institution or as a group of people, let alone as a country, how to think about promoting integrity. How to promote responsibility that's above that minimal standard.
So the compliance that we were looking for was to meet minimal standards.
Minimal standards.
We're not talking about integrity. That's a whole different issue.
And they are often not confused, but talked about at the same time, where many students and even many faculty can become confused about, well, I did that compliance, what's the question? And to be able to teach responsible science often means to be able to inspire your students and your colleagues to do good work. And that's a little harder to do. Do others have suggestions? Very comprehensive system of infrastructure here. Other suggestions about ways to enhance the environment for responsible science?
We punish those who are found guilty.
Well, consistent response, certainly. Punishment, clearly identifying, I mean, did Dr. Wong do right or do wrong? We trust that somebody oversaw it properly. But Dr. Huang's trainees write on blogs that he pushed them to do things that they shouldn't have done. Not only was he not supervising, he pushed them. There is some work done by the colleagues who write the Scientists Behaving Badly article that institutions that don't maintain consistent response to misbehavior promote misbehavior. So consistency is important. Yes?
That's the reason I asked a question about when you have a definition, what is the prescription? When you talk about consistent response to things that are very vague, how do you?
Right, and this is so much of the problem. Someone, Dr. Lowe said the importance of transparency, so that when you're talking about something that is still vague, to make sure that the reasoning is clear to those people who might be affected.
Because
And that-
you're meant to talk about giving people a second chance. Right?
And giving people a second chance when they actually want to learn how to do better. If they say, like Dr. Wong, I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, but you see, you're talking to somebody who's very fragile in the whole country. Why should I give him a second chance? He should already know. But if let's say the student made a mistake, I give the students a second chance because I will forgive him over.
And students are learning.
But a person who's so senior, he should know it. You know.
But they still
There
make
should be a second
mistakes.
chance.
Humans make mistakes. If you
Humans
learn
make
from it-
mistakes. Humans also are greedy and
If he learned, I mean, like for this case, of course, because then he went and did that.
The students, yes.
Yeah, I mean, once he did that, then yes, I mean the second thing. But for if he does learn from mistakes, maybe he was, you know, who knows what the backstory is. But at least for everyone, not just for this guy, is that if they've done a mistake and they've learned from it and they want to change, why are we stopping them? We do the exact same thing for convicts. They go to jail, they come out. Do we give him a second chance? We do. If he does that, we do. He may have to be under strict supervision.
So there's an element of should he be punished first and then be given a second chance?
Right, that's the question.
Yeah.
Should he be punished first? Should he admit that he did wrong first?
Yes.
Because some people who have been found guilty of misconduct in many countries say, that was not me, I didn't do that. And it becomes hard to know how to respond to them because it's not clear that they'll learn. This is a topic that is something that only can be discussed among professionals talking about their own best practices. And it is a good conversation to have at a university, although it needs to happen at many levels and among a large number of people. We'd like to move on to talking about another area where both policy and practice are important, and this is the question of publication and research. The stem cell case actually came to prominence because 3 big articles were published in major journals, and 2 of them had fabricated data. So we'd like to talk with you and have you talk a little bit about questions of authorship and publication and responsible practices in that area, to be able to think about giving appropriate credit both for your colleagues and your students, and then more broadly or more narrowly in terms of objectives, to be able to articulate why scientists publish in the first place and the consequences of that rationale, thinking about who can be an author if we think about why scientists are publishing, how to acknowledge other people's contributions on a paper when they're not authors, and then questions of plagiarism. How do you know when someone's words are their own and not someone else's? And finally, how to avoid plagiarism, which is an important thing to be able to teach students. So, for a few minutes, talk at your table, and then we're going to shout out questions of why scientists publish? Why publish in the first place?
KPI.